what was interesting that he said was, he was like, I don't know if he was commenting on like people's perception of his singing style, because he's very like operatic and like big
Right.
and larger than life. But in the series, they were covering shock rock. So they were talking about Screaming Jay Hawkins and like Alice Cooper and all that stuff, and like how all that kind of begat itself. And Kiss was kind of included in that genre,
Yeah.
that, you know. And so Dickinson was talking about, but forget even before Screaming Jay Hawkins, he was talking about Arthur Brown. You familiar with him?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not as big a metalhead apparently as you. I didn't know
Oh
you were
yeah.
so into it, man.
Yeah, sort of. I don't love everything, but what I do love, I love. At any rate, Dickinson is talking about Arthur Brown. Arthur Brown is this guy who, another link I'll put in the description, who there's this song called Fire, and it's referenced as one of like the first or early shock rock songs. And it's just very sort of like avant-garde, but like spooky. And I mean, it's kind of like hokey by today's standards, but it's a good song, and he's a great artist. And he's very like very much a very big, larger than life type of singer. Just some skinny, tall dude from England, but was part of like the, swinging 60s scene. Anyway, so a very unlikely sort of like character to wind up receiving that kind of title. But anyway, he was popular enough that Bruce Dickinson said he was out and about in London one night, right around or before he was an Iron Maiden, and he ran into me. He's like, I totally like probably freaked this guy out, but he's like, oh, I love you, man. Like, you don't understand. Like, my whole act is you, right? So so it turns out that like, and it's weird because if you listen and check out, you listen to like 2 Arthur Brown songs from like the early 60s, like late 60s. And then you go listen to like 3 Iron Maiden songs, you're like, oh man, he does sound like Arthur Brown, like to some degree. He's right. Totally his own thing. So here's the guy that
start
like
somewhere, man.
Yeah, but like also here's a guy who a lot of people hold in high regard, myself included, and is a great singer, but literally called himself out and was just like, I'm ripping off Arthur Brown.
Yeah.
And like, again, if you hear it through the thread of a lot of the Iron Maiden stuff, it sounds like that consistently. You're just like, holy shit. But it totally works, and it's totally its own thing, The Beatles. Did you enjoy that episode? Yes? Would you like to see and hear more? Please like and subscribe, and you'll automatically receive notifications when we publish new episodes. Thanks for watching and listening to the WOAS podcast.